Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Dana, I play games, and today we're not gonna play a game. We will later on in the day, but before we do, I just wanted to sit down with you and kind of prepare ourselves with the Horizon Forbidden West coming out. And the best way to do it, I thought, is to have a proper sit down and a recap of Horizon Zero Dawn. I will be using a video from IGM Games, so if you want to see the original video, obviously go and check them out. I will leave the link to the channel down below, but they're IGN Games, why would I do that? They're on the top of the list, they're the bestest. So they've created a wonderful recap video for Horizon Zero Dawn, and I just wanted to sit down. It's almost 20 minutes long, so I want to sit down and I want to watch it with you and kind of remember what Horizon really was all about. Just to kind of have it fresh in our minds before we go in this adventure of Forbidden West. So let's just watch it, right? So yeah.
Horizon Zero Dawn introduced PlayStation fans to a new post-apocalypse brimming with robotic beasts, quickly becoming a hit for Sony and Killzone developer Guerrilla Games. With the sequel, Horizon Forbidden West, coming soon, it's a good idea to catch up on exactly how Horizon's world came to be and the mystery of Aloy's true origin.
Your whole life you've been searching, and the Elders, they've been holding you back.
Music.
The girl is a curse. She came from nowhere.
She's not a curse, you're rich. She's beautiful. Don't just say that. Oh, jeez. I'm so sorry.
This is Horizon Zero Dawn, the story so far.
Ta-da! This video is wonderful.
Story is told through Aloy's life and audio diaries reaching back centuries, so we'll be covering a few hundred years of history in much less time than that. By the year 2040, Earth is plagued by a global climate crisis. Entire countries find themselves submerged underwater due to rising sea levels, bioterrorists are sparked off fresh plagues that ravage major cities, and it's generally a very bad time for everybody. To combat this, the corporation known as Faro Automated Solutions, led by the self-indulgent Ted Faro, begins investing in green robot research, led by the young genius Elizabeth Sobek. Faro switched its focus to military robotics sometime before 2048, leading Elizabeth to resign from the company and form her own robotics initiative. Unfortunately, the US and UK militaries pretty much replaced their entire forces, with Faro leading the charge. Faro's killer robots, the Scorpion-like Chariot line, had proven their value by 2064. To somehow make killer robots even worse, some sort of glitch caused increasing numbers of the Chariots to ignore human commands. Elizabeth met with Faro to discuss the situation, only discover the bots were multiplying and using their biomass conversion fuel system to effectively strip mine the Earth to stay active. Surely this seemed like a good idea at the time.
You've heard the bad news, and it's all true.
Aloy's voice.
The Faro plague is devouring the biosphere.
It was
Life
Aloy,
itself will cease to exist.
Clone. No,
With
like
little
she's
hope
the
in
original.
sight, Elizabeth projects humanity will go extinct in 15 months, so she strong-arms Faro into funding the titular Project Zero Dawn to combat the Faro plague. Not so nice having something named after you now, huh, Ted? Made up of an AI-controlled series of underground bunkers and cloning facilities, Zero Dawn would in theory rehabilitate a shattered Earth, cloning humans to eventually repopulate the Earth hundreds of years after humanity's original fall. Elizabeth developed an AI named Gaia to oversee Zero Dawn, with Gaia also controlling subroutines that focused on specific needs. At the same time, the US military began Operation Enduring Victory to give the Zero Dawn project enough time to complete their work. Knowing that Zero Dawn's success stood as humanity's only hope, the military's leaders straight up lied and told the remaining forces that Zero Dawn was designing a weapon to destroy the robots, giving them a false sense of hope to motivate them to lay down their lives.
Zero Dawn is not a superweapons program, and it will not save us. Nothing will save us.
Unfortunately, Faro's robots wiped out the vast majority of humanity only a few years later by early 2066. The Gaia facility, where Elizabeth, Faro, and the remaining AI specialists were to live out their days, then went into lockdown. Sadly, one hatch failed to close tight enough, threatening to bleed enough of a signal to alert the Faro robots that their job was not complete. Knowing the hatches could only be closed from the outside, Elizabeth donned an exosuit and shut the hatch before her cohorts could stop her. It's a valiant move that would also likely mean her death, so Elizabeth completed her mission, said her goodbyes, and began a journey to her childhood home. A few weeks following Elizabeth's fateful choice, Pharaoh is increasingly consumed by his guilt over building the robots responsible for humanity's devastation, which is a pretty big thing that you should probably feel guilty for, Ted.
Yeah.
But that guilt leads to desperation, and Pharaoh wipes out the Apollo archives, a giant library of knowledge meant to re-educate future humans, because he believes knowledge of the old world is a disease that shouldn't be passed on.
Wow.
But listen, this is the guy who started the robo-apocalypse, so he also probably wanted to erase any record of his own misdeeds.
Exactly.
After the remaining scientists accuse him of killing humanity twice over, he vents the oxygen out of the Gaia facility, killing his fellow survivors and ensuring they can't restore humanity's knowledge of the past. Pharaoh presumably dies alone sometime later. The end. Good riddance. Just kidding.
Boston.
In the ensuing centuries, Gaia, having some free time on their hands, decrypts the activation codes for the Pharaoh plague robots and begins construction on the Hephaestus Cauldron facilities that will build terraforming bots and the cradles that will create new human clones. Cut to sometime in the 24th century when the Eleothea 9 cradle runs out of food and decides to let its human inhabitants, mostly just young adults, out into the world, sealing its massive doors seemingly forever. The descendants of those first humans eventually form the Nora tribe and worship the cradle's doors as the deity All-Mother. Hundreds more years pass, and finally, Horizon Zero Dawn begins. FYI, this is what Horizon means with the whole post-apocalypse setting. We're not in the truly chaotic burnout landscape of the end times, we're several stages beyond that when, as Jeff Goldblum would put it,
life, finds a way.
Anyway, in the year 3020, a mysterious signal is sent to Gaia that transforms her subroutines into independent AIs. The AI Hades attempts to take over the terraforming process, but Gaia stalls its hostilities by self-destructing, causing the mountain containing Gaia to explode so violently that it can be seen for miles. Hades' work isn't for nothing, as its takeover begins the derangement of the terraforming robots, causing most of them to become increasingly aggressive towards humans who are currently living in scattered tribes across the land. Shortly before Gaia's destruction, the motherly AI makes one last-ditch effort to ensure humanity's survival. She orders the same cradle worshipped by the Nora to create a new human clone based on Elizabeth Sobek's DNA. For the first time in centuries, the doors to the cradle are opened and out pops baby Aloy, much to the understandable shock of the Nora people. Thanks to her questionable birth and nature's simultaneously increasing chaos, Aloy is almost immediately shunned by the Nora mothers. She's given to Rost, an outcast and widower who nonetheless maintains the respect of most Nora tribe members.
Oh, Mother, this child needs a name by which to know her.
Aloy.
That your love may warm her life as the rising sun warms all the earth. Speak her name!
Aloy! Papa!
The years pass and Rost begins training Aloy in the ways of hunting and survival. While avoiding one of Rost's lessons, Aloy falls into a pit leading to the ruins of an old pre-apocalypse facility where she discovers a Focus, basically the world's coolest earbud. It allows her to see detailed readouts of her environment, as well as ancient hologram recordings. The young Aloy uses her Focus to save a man named Teb from a pack of aggressive Watchers and Striders, two of the more common robots in the land.
When they told me to raise you, I didn't ask questions.
Why am I an outcast? Who was my mother?
Always you pushed for answers. Push yourself to the edge.
Good girl.
As Aloy grows up, her resentment of the Nora grows too. Despite this, Rost and Aloy venture to the Nora homeland, Mother's Heart, to participate in the Proving, a trial wherein any victors are given the status of Brave, and the first place finisher can request anything of the Nora matriarchs. The day before the Proving, Aloy also meets Erend, an Oseram tribesman providing security for a Karja tribe sun priest visiting the Nora to formally apologize for the Karja's past war crimes.
These envoys come to us under a banner of peace.
An
Nice headwear.
enunciation of gratitude written
Killers
by the
and
hand of
Sabotage,
King
you bloody moron.
Hey,
Luminance of
hold your fruit. Nora,
Hold your fruit.
Nora Faithful, hold your fruit.
And yes, we know, it's a lot of factions all at once, so here's a quick
Hold your
breakdown.
fruit.
The Nora are one
Don't
of the
throw
oldest
it at
tribes
me.
in the New
Hold your
World, but
fruit.
exclusively
I know
by
this
women
is
and typically
not
shun
a video I
outsiders and any
expected.
ancient technology. The Oseram are a hardy, no-nonsense people known for their craft work. The Karja are the largest and most advanced tribe, led by King Avid. King Avid's dad, King Jiren, was a crazy genocidal murderer until Avid killed him. Avid is now trying to make up for his dad's actions. Those still loyal to Jiren formed the Shadow Karja. Eventually, the Shadow Karja also formed the Eclipse Cult when Silence, a character we'll get to later, introduces them to the rogue AI Hades. The Eclipse Cult basically believes that Hades is a powerful devil from ancient Karja lore, so they do its bidding in exchange for huge military power. Anyway, despite some foul play from other contestants, Aloy wins the proving. Just as a Nora matriarch is happily renouncing Aloy's outcast status, an arrow pierces one of the matriarch's chest, and Eclipse cultists, led by Shadow Karja Chief Hellas, slaughter Nora left and right. Aloy discovers these cultists also possess focuses. Unfortunately, this gives Hellas a chance to sneak up behind her, grab her by the neck, and almost kill her before Rost appears to save her. Rost is tragically overpowered by the cultist leader. Not quite dead yet, Rost uses his final moments to save Aloy by pushing her off a cliff as the cultists kill the remaining survivors with an explosion.
Oh, this was so sad. You know you could have killed her like that. I'm just saying. Like, she's kind of falling.
Aloy is saved by the Nora and taken to Mother's Heart, where Matriarch Tirsa tells her of her strange birth. Though she tries to enter, the AI controlling the door cryptically informs them Aloy's identity can't be verified and thus she can't enter the cradle. Anointing Aloy as Seeker, Tirsa sends her off to discover her origins in the city of Meridian and to track down a mysterious man named Olin seen at the Proving. After some diversions, Aloy makes her way to Meridian, running into Erend, who, as Olin's friend, helps Aloy find information on where he ran off to. And wouldn't you know it, those pesky Eclipse cultists forcibly coerced him into aiding their cause. Aloy travels to a quarry housing the cultists and Olin and witnesses the activation of a corruptor, which can infect other robots with derangement. Aloy defeats the cultists and the corruptor with the aid of an unknown man. Spoiler, it's Silence, played by the great Lance Reddick.
Silence. That's... Now, why don't you try asking another question?
Why not?
Something less trivial.
Aloy squeezes information out of Olin, who tells her the cultists, aka the Shadow Karja, worship the Hades AI, who, it turns out, ordered Aloy's assassination at the Proving. Hades is also using the cultists to excavate dormant robots from other locations to amass its army. Aloy helps Erend discover the truth behind the murder of his sister, the Oseram leader Ursa. The pair determine that fellow Oseram tribesmen, not cultists, are responsible. The pair discover that the attackers switched Ursa's bodies with a deformed double, leaving room for hope that she may still be alive. Aloy continues making friends in Meridian, meeting the new Sun King Avid, who hopes to bring the Karja into an era of peace after deposing his genocidal father. Aloy and Erend's personal quest lead them to a mountain range far away as they track a man named Dervahl. After defeating Dervahl's guard, Aloy and Erend find a badly wounded Ursa who tells them about Dervahl's plans to attack Meridian before dying. For real this time. Sorry, Erend. Aloy and Erend rush back to warn King Avid of the plot, disposing of the explosive materials just in time.
Will we survive?
Probably not. Now push.
Love them both. They're just such a couple, aren't they?
Dervahl, unaware his plot has already been foiled, emerges from the shadows and uses a sonic blast device to disable Avid and his guards. Aloy eventually beats Dervahl and the Glinthawk he summoned, saving the city and all of her new allies. Erend, grateful for all the help, returns to the Oseram region. Aloy then journeys to Maker's End, a series of ruins, to learn more about the mysterious Elizabeth Sobek, whom players at this point will probably realize she kinda resembles. Aloy defeats a massive Deathbringer war machine and more cultists, but when she grabs a focus from a dead cultist leader to gain intel, she accidentally reveals to Hades that she's still alive. Oops. Aloy ventures deeper to the ruins, which turn out to be a facility for Ted Farrow's robotics company. Diving into a bunch of data logs, Aloy uncovers more information about Farrow, Elizabeth Sobek, and the robot apocalypse. In fact, all of that information we told you about earlier.
Genetic profile confirmed. Entry authorized.
There you go.
Greetings, Dr. Sobek. Please step inside.
You go, girl. You did it. You go, girl.
Silence, Aloy's mystery ally, offers to aid her as he is researching the Old Ones, aka Ancient Humans. Remembering that Elizabeth mentioned something about a US command post, Silence suggests she investigate the area, now known as the Grave Horde Ruins, where Aloy eventually learns about Operation Enduring Victory. To gain more intel, Aloy must venture behind enemy lines, and so, with Silence's assistance, she infiltrates the Shadow Karja city of Sunfall, discovering the remains of an immense metal devil controlled by Hades. Aloy somehow infiltrates the Project Zero Dawn facility with her genetic code, alerting the Shadow Karja in the process. While inside, she learns more about the truth behind Operation Enduring Victory and discovers a message from Elizabeth Sobek explaining how the robots were designed to terraform Earth back into a hospitable state. Hades was designed to wrestle control of Zero Dawn from Gaia in the event that it failed, only to set up another humanity rebooting attempt, presumably centuries later.
At this point, the development of my psyche is not entirely predictable. To ensure preservation of life, a hardwired override is, I believe, a necessary safeguard.
Eventually, Aloy finds the Alpha Registry file she needs to enter the All-Mother Mountain, but is captured by Shadow Karja and thrown into their gladiator arena. Here, Aloy survives the fight against a corrupted bull-like behemoth before Silence crashes the party in person and rescues her. An understandably angry Aloy demands answers from Silence, who declines to help her stop the cultists from destroying other tribes. He keeps his motive secret, so with an apology, the two part ways. Returning to the Nora tribe homeland, Aloy discovers the sacred lands have been ravaged by cultist attacks. Fighting her way through cultists and giant robots, Aloy saves the remaining Nora trapped inside the mountain and, despite some protests, enters the Cradle facility she was created in. The Cradle is a treasure trove of lore in which Aloy finds evidence of the first post-apocalypse humans, as well as a recording of Gaia's last words, explaining how the mysterious signal allowed Hades to overtake her. Gaia's final act was, in fact, ordering the creation of Aloy, a clone of Elizabeth Sobek, so she may restore Gaia. With Aloy's true origin uncovered, the previously hostile Nora leaders praise and worship Aloy as a savior. Fuming with resentment, Aloy explodes on them for their hubris and tells them that her mission goes far beyond just saving the Nora, urging anyone willing to fight to meet her in Meridian. Aloy travels to Gaia Prime, following a route laid out by Silence. Along the way, Aloy learns more about the Alphas, the scientists responsible for aiding Elizabeth in finishing Zero Dawn. As described in increasingly desperate recordings by Pharaoh, Aloy learns of Elizabeth and the Alphas' deaths before snagging the master override needed to stop Hades. In a last act of humility, an IRL Silence reveals he was the one who awoke Hades and formed the Eclipse cult, realizing that Hades could provide immense amounts of knowledge about the old world. But he underestimated the damage it would cause.
I don't care.
Silence shares that Hades isn't really interested in Meridian, but rather the Spire, a massive obelisk that acts as a transmitter for Gaia that could awaken all dormant robots. Silence gives Aloy his lance, Aloy attaches the Master Override to it, and Silence says his goodbyes as she ventures off to stop Hades.
It's called Hades. And it doesn't want Meridian at all. It wants the Spire. And if it gets there, it will send out a call, waking more ancient machines, more than we could ever defeat. All will be lost.
Aloy races back to Meridian to warn King Avid and ready their defenses. Avid's advisor informs them that numerous friends have arrived, including a number of Nora vowing to fight for Aloy. The following day, Aloy and Avid's forces battle the Eclipse cultists and their corrupted machines. Aloy defeats Hellas in battle, but soon after is knocked out and wakes up to find a war machine dragging Hades toward the Spire.
Yeah.
It's begun. Hades is transmitting.
Aloy and her surviving friends make off towards Hades, defeating multiple war machines before finally deactivating Hades with the Master Override and stopping the Extinction Protocol. Whew. Crisis averted, and now the post-apocalyptic societies can live in peace, right? Well, after celebrating their well-earned victory, Aloy ventures out to find Elizabeth's remains in the grass just outside her childhood home, surrounded by a triangle of flowers, and seemingly enjoy a bit of solitude. In a final post-game teaser, Hades is revealed to still be active and to have escaped its physical shell and flown to Silence, who's captured it in some sort of device. Clearly happy to see his old acquaintance, Silence asks Hades about who awoke it in the first place, all while approaching the husk of a dormant metal devil. But Hades isn't the only AI subroutine that's run amok of its original purpose. In the Frozen Wilds DLC, Aloy journeys to the northern region known as the Cut, which is actually Yellowstone Park, home of the Banuk tribe. The Banuk have suffered a terrible loss against some sort of demon, and one of the central mountains is belching horrible smoke. Aloy learns from the chieftain Aratak that Aurea, the Banuk shaman, and his sister went missing during the battle.
I just need to find Aurea.
Well, you won't. She's gone where only shamans can tread. She seeks guidance from the voice
Their
in the blue light.
headpieces and all is just amazing.
Aloy searches for Aurea and finds another old-world facility the Banuk have turned into a shrine to something called the Spirit, some sort of AI that's being attacked by the supposed demon. After finding Aurea, Aratak is convinced to hand over leadership to Aloy. The crew journey back to the facility where Aloy discovers the Spirit is actually Cyan, another AI similar to Gaia that's responsible for maintaining the stability of the Yellowstone supervolcano. And the demon is actually Hephaestus, one of Gaia's other subroutines. Hephaestus gained control over Gaia's robot building abilities once the top AI had been destroyed. After humans hunted the terraforming bots so extensively, Hephaestus considered humans a threat and began developing
looks really
bear-like hunter-killer
human-like,
bots in
doesn't
addition
he?
to attempting to seize control of Cyan's immense power reserves. The group fights their way to Cyan's core, where Aria valiantly sacrifices herself to allow Cyan to transfer
reason.
itself to an off-site location and destroy the core. After Aloy and Aratak return to the Bannock Shrine,
watch it.
Cyan warns Aloy that Hephaestus is still out there somewhere and still intends on building more robots to combat humanity. With that threat in mind, Aratak thanks Aloy for all her help, and Aloy returns command of his people to Aratak before moving on to her next adventures. With
Well,
Horizon
there you go.
Forbidden West seemingly taking place further in the American West, including good old San Francisco, it remains to be seen
San
what trouble
Francisco,
Aloy will
I
get
love
into in her next
that.
adventure. But it seems clear that Silence, Hades, Hephaestus, and all the robot animals you could possibly want will be back in full force.
There's nothing I wouldn't do to save this world. No depths I won't explore.
They're adding the cinematic
I will be
trailer
ready.
to it. Well, there. That was our recap. I couldn't talk much because I was just too busy listening. But few things I wanted to say is like I really have forgotten the main story of the game. Let's say I remember the beauty of it, the machines, Aloy's voice, the music, countless hours in photo mode, making all the kinds of pictures happening. Mad amount of time I spend on photo mode. But to remember the main, like the story of the Gaia and all of that, yeah, my mind somehow just kind of put that at the back for some reason. So I'm really glad I watched it, and I don't remember Forbidden. You see, it's mixing in my head. I don't remember Frozen Wild that much. Frozen Wilds that much. So I think I need to do an extensive video search of that. Just watch gameplay or something. Yeah, because I really wanna have it fresh in my mind. And oh my god, the baby Aloy, she's so cute. So yeah, thanks to IGN Games and Gamers Prey, that's his gameplay, that they used in their video, and I'm using it in my video. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm really glad I watched it with you. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it refreshed your memory. I know a lot of people have replayed Zero Dawn just before the release, just like you should when a good game comes out, but I just kind of run out of time, so I thought to do this instead and do it with you guys. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I will be playing this game as soon as I get it, Friday, hopefully sooner, probably not. Knowing my history of online orders, probably not, but I will be playing Forbidden West the second I have it. And if you want to play it with me, if you want to watch it, if you want to play it alongside of me, or you know, anything, like really, if you just want to join in the story, just subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it, really. But yeah, and that's it. That's really all I can say. So I'm gonna be recapping my Frozen Wilds memories. I'll watch some gameplays. Leave a comment, and maybe for a gameplay that you enjoy from Frozen Wilds, so I can check that one out. Yeah, I'm gonna stop blabbing because I'm just blabbing at this point. I just keep staring at the image of this game. I just can't. Anyway, it's almost there. It's almost the day of... Why do I want to say Frozen Wilds? It's almost the day of Forbidden West. And we can't wait, right? Okay, thanks for watching. Have an awesome day. I'll see you next time. Bye.